It's the eCommerce Master Plan podcast. Here to help you solve your marketing problems and grow your e-commerce business. Cutting through the hype to bring you inspiration and advice from the e-commerce sector and beyond. Here's your host, Chloe Thomas.
Hello and welcome. It's time for another episode in our 2022 January Growth Series. If you're tuning in to this podcast for the very first time, or you're tuning in for the first time in a while, hello. Great to have you here. Thank you for tuning in. Here on the eCommerce Master Plan podcast, we bring you inspiring stories and examples of retailers and brands who are striving for e-commerce success and doing interesting things on the path to net zero. Every January, and if you're one of our regular listeners, and I love you guys too, I love you guys a lot, then you'll know every January we release our January Growth Series. It's designed to help you pull together your perfect plan for 2022, and we've been already sharing many super inspiring guests, and we've got some more to come. There's 9 episodes in total, including our hugely popular mashup episodes where a flock of e-commerce experts each share their bite-sized reflections on 2021 and their top tips for 2022. Both those episodes are live right now. Worth queuing them up after this episode, I would say. Now, in this episode, we're shining a light on a consumer segment that's overlooked by most businesses. That's the disabled. It's a sector worth a lot of money. And an example of how growth isn't just about making the existing customer base buy endlessly more. It's about expanding your customer base to help ever more people. We're not just shining the light on this area, we're also going to explore 2 ways my guest is helping you to tap into this market, both via his marketplace and by making your own site more accessible. Get ready to be inspired as soon as we've heard from our sponsors. Are you looking to increase your sales without the extra work? Omnisend's email and SMS marketing automation platform is tailor-made for e-commerce businesses, giving you everything you need to run personalised omnichannel campaigns on autopilot. With an easy-to-use interface and pre-built automation workflows, even marketing newbies can be automating like the pros in just minutes. And if you want to dig deeper into the details and customize, Omnisend have the tools and integrations to do that too. Over 70,000 brands are now using Omnisend to grow their revenue, including us here at eCommerce Masterplan. Ready to join us all? Get your free account now at omnisend.com/masterplan. That's omnisend.com/masterplan. And now to introduce today's special guest. Mike Adams is the CEO of Purple, an organisation changing the disability conversation with businesses and disabled people. He's been listed on the Shaw Trust #Disability Power 100 list as one of the most influential disabled people in Britain, and received an OBE for his services to disabled people as well. A large part of what Mike and his team at Purple are doing is highlighting the value and potential of the disabled market, the Purple Pound, for businesses. And their latest focus is on helping online retailers sell to this fiercely loyal market, which in the UK alone is worth £274 billion and $8 trillion globally. Hello, Mike.
Hello.
It's lovely to have you here, and you're such a good fit for our growth series because this is such a huge opportunity. You tackle, your subject in so many different parts of society. What led you to decide that it was time to tackle the very complicated world of e-commerce?
No, absolutely. And we and Purple are about changing the disability conversation, and we want to kind of reposition disability from charity, from vulnerable people, from welfare, to being about contribution and opportunity, both for disabled people and for businesses. And you talk about the disability market that's absolutely huge. And we've always wanted, and the biggest challenge for us is, how do you mediate these disabled people, these 1 billion global disabled people, these 14 million disabled people in the UK, with businesses that want to serve that market, which is really underserved and undertapped at the moment. And the reality is that e-commerce is the way to go. It is the future. We have seen our experiences of COVID and lockdowns that disabled people have been disproportionately isolated through access to information, products, and services. But the reality is that is the way the world is going, and e-commerce needs to wake up to the opportunity. And we believe that we have the solutions to help e-commerce and help businesses who do e-commerce, but also help disabled people.
One of the things I think we should make clear to everyone is we're not just talking about people in wheelchairs, which is often everyone just thinks, oh, it's someone with a physical disability. It's a lot more complicated than that, isn't it?
Oh, it is. And I think, well, disabled people comprise 8% of wheelchair users, comprise 8% of the entire disabled population. What we do know is that the international sign for disability, which is recognized worldwide, is the wheelchair. And that's why many people think disability, think wheelchair, but it's 8%. 80% of disabled people have hidden disabilities. So they will walk into your building, their shop, your restaurant, wherever you are, and you would not necessarily know they are disabled and had additional needs that, if they were met, they would end up being your customer for life. And so when we talk about disability, we talk about physical, we talk about sensory, we talk about mental health, which is absolutely kind of exploded since lockdown and COVID. We're talking dementia. We're talking people with cancer and who have recovered from cancer. We are talking 15% of the global population. And in the UK, we are talking about 22% of the population. And someone said that disabled people are the largest minority group in the world.
Why I love the fact that you are focused on turning it into from being a charity to being an opportunity, because this is a huge group of people who've got money to spend. And as all of us listening to this podcast know, if you make your site something which people find enjoyable and easy to use, they're more likely to come back. And when almost all sites are hard to use for disabled people, if you can make your site better, then you're going to get that loyalty as well, which I think is a really important point to point out, that if you can do a good job for disabled people, then they are going to come back again and again from your research.
No, absolutely. And that's how we transform the lives of disabled people, by providing them with quality services. And I remember very vividly 4 or 5 years ago going into a shopping centre and going into 28 shops in that day, and only 22 out of the 28 never even spoke to me. They kind of swerved the conversation. And the reality is that I didn't want to spend my money in those shops. And it's absolutely the same with e-commerce. You need to feel like you're a customer. You need to feel valued. You need to have the bells and whistles. And if you do, you'll spend, and you'll spend again, and you'll spend again. And then that transforms the lives of everyone. And so what we're saying to businesses is, look, an e-commerce, this is the world we now live in. You have got to step up. You have got to make yourself accessible. And if you do, there will be absolute massive commercial benefits to you because of the disability market. There will be real benefits in meeting social impact targets and expectations, which the world is now looking for. And increasingly, people are saying to me they want to take their organization on an inclusion, disability, diversity, education journey. And we can do that as well. So it is absolutely a win-win-win. It's easy to do, and the benefits are enormous.
We're going to get into how it's easier than you all think it is to do in a minute. As Mike says, it is easier. But first off, you've had a recent success. So we're recording this in November, and just a couple of weeks ago, you had a big event, Mike, which made a big impact, didn't it?
Yes, so recently we ran Purple Tuesday, which is an initiative about improving the disabled customer experience. And that could be face to face or it could be online. And it was remarkable where the growth, we got to number 2 on Twitter. We had a reach of over 11 million people. There were 9,000 messages on social media. We involved over 6,000 businesses who made over 9,000 commitments to improve their accessibility and commitment to disabled customers. And it tells me that there is a real appetite here. And the one statistic that I use is the fact that in terms of the UK workforce, over 50% of people either have a disabled relative, using the definition that I talked about earlier, or someone in their close network. So it has resonance. The question I always ask is, would you want your auntie, your nephew, your grandma to go into your business and have a different kind of experience simply because they had a disability? And the answer is no. And interestingly, this year, the 2 commitments that were made the most, one was about mental health training, which is understandable, and the other is about online accessibility and how do we make our sites and what we provide much more accessible. So there's a real clamour, there's a real want by businesses to do this. And actually the answer is, how do we?
Well, that's what we're going to get onto next. Because it does strike me that not only is there a huge market opportunity there, but the other thing we've seen over the last couple of years with all the COVID and all the pandemic is that a lot more businesses have launched online, more businesses have started selling online, so it's become more competitive. So those who really want to grow need to find these areas, these pockets of customers who are underserved. So if ever there was a time to be talking about this, it's certainly now. Now, Mike, as well as running amazing events like Purple Tuesday and getting all those commitments, you're also practically helping retailers and brands to sell online with a new project that's coming along very soon. So could you tell us a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's called Enable All. And we think it'll be the world's first accessibility-led shopping experience. And what it aims to do is set the new standards for how to build digital experiences for all consumers. And we think it's going to be a different kind of marketplace e-commerce platform, and we're flipping the priority focus. So what we're doing is building in solutions that are accessible first and creatively stunning. So we know that if you are blind, for example, the difficulties of e-commerce platforms being able to utilize your assistive technology and your screen readers. If you have mental health, actually, the one thing you want is decluttered pages, so we can declutter the pages. We've been able to make sure that if you have mobility difficulties and you can't use a mouse, it can be bespoke to you, and all different disabilities. So we think we are creating an experience that meets your particular needs in order that you will want to use a marketplace, an e-commerce platform, to do what most people are now taking for granted. And so the Enable All will take products and make them fully accessible, and will ensure that the platform ensures that it's synchronized with people's own assistive technology or technologies that we put into the marketplace.
So am I right in saying that for some people, depending on their setup and their disability, they'll come on the website and it will immediately be right, in inverted commas, for them. And for others, they can kind of hit a drop down and pick the setup they want for it to work for them? Is that how it will work for the user?
Absolutely, that is. So you go in, you log on for the first time, and you'll talk about yourself and your needs. And then that becomes the default position. And your entire experience from perusing different pages to checkout and absolutely everything else. In the jargon, it will be WCAG AAA in terms of the standards, but actually it will be what individuals want. But the point I want to make is we are not creating a disability ghetto. We're not saying if you're disabled, go to Enable All. If you're not, go to everywhere else. What we're doing is creating a brilliant, I hope, customer experience that enables merchants to be fully accessible and access the disability market, but will also enable conscientious consumers and everyone else to use Enable All as well. So if you have no disabilities at all, we believe it will still be a brilliant experience.
Now, there's two angles to it that hit what you were just talking about that I absolutely love. And it's that, to achieve your aim, you could have just gone out there, created a dummy site and knocked on the door of a lot of retailers and go, look at our dummy site. You could do this to your site. But you've not done that. You've created a full-on working e-commerce store that anyone can shop on and that works. So it's like a great case study, a great example for e-commerce teams around the globe to go and look at how they can achieve this on their own sites. But it's also a marketplace, which means that as soon as it's live, people will be able to upload their products and immediately tap in to this huge market opportunity, start serving these customers, getting to better understand these customers to then bring that back to their own site eventually as well. So it seems like you've picked out the fastest possible way to make the impact.
No, absolutely. And we talk about the need to redefine disability and accessibility in 2022 and beyond. And what we wanted to do was show the art of what is possible, but not only tell people what to do, but do it ourselves so we could become the kind of catalyst for people tomorrow to be selling their products to this market, to the wider market, but also eventually, other products will be what we know and what we've learned about the technology in making this AAA. We want to develop so that whoever you are, you also have your own marketplace or your own website that is fully accessible. And I don't want to sound trite, there is a commercial benefit to us for doing this, but actually this is about potentially transforming the lives of 1 billion people and making it in line with how the world is going with e-commerce and online and marketplace. And it's just making sure that disabled people are a fully part and in tune and on time with everybody else.
That's why I love this approach so much, because it's that quick step of let's just get selling our products, but then it's also because I can see many an IT director and e-commerce director going, oh, but this is really hard. How can you satisfy this disability and this disability and this disability on the site and still make it look pretty? And you're eroding those arguments. You're showing the pathway of how you actually achieve this, which I think will do an awful lot to change people's minds around where this fits on their development schedule.
I agree. And with the procurement teams and everyone else, I think what's imprinted in my mind working in this field for the last 6 months is the phrase frictionless integration. Never heard of it before, but I absolutely can tell you that I know it now. And the art and the magic of what we want to do is to create a frictionless integration that companies and retailers and people who want to sell their products and services, we can do it for them and with them. And suddenly and overnight, they can access this 274 billion UK purple pound, $8 trillion global market. And the answers have been in the public domain for years. It's just no one's done it. We're just showing what can be done because we want others to follow.
I suspect they will, based on the brilliance that you've pulled together. So when are we going to have Enable All ready? What's the timings? Because I know it's a massive project and it's not quite ready yet, but we wanted to put you in our growth series because I think this is such a huge opportunity for people. So whenabouts are you anticipating this will be ready for listeners to upload their products?
We think we are going to go live in the spring 2022, and we have a website that I'll tell you at the end, and people who are interested can talk to us now, and they can be the pioneers, they can be the first on the site, they can lead the way, and we can work with them. And we think we will really have something to say. It will be unique, it will be different, it will tick so many great boxes, and we want to work with organizations and companies who know that they want to do it, are committed to doing it, who might not know how to do it, and we can work hand in hand with them to make what they sell accessible.
Yeah, so guys, although it's not yet live, now is the time to make contact with Mike and his team if you want to be in and have your products listed as it goes live. So Mike, what website do people need to go to do that?
enableall.com. And that will take you to a place where you can register, sign up, engage with us, and be ready for the absolute launch.
E-commerce Master Plan is supported by some of the greatest companies in the e-commerce sector. Here's a reminder of who they are.
We're in weird times in e-commerce right now. Inflation is soaring, supply chain issues continue, there are more competitors, and cookies are dying. All of those are having an impact on your costs, which is impacting your profits. To make the right decisions for your business, you need to be able to track your profitability, channel to channel, product to product, and day to day. You need a profit calculator at your fingertips. That's why I want to introduce you to BeProfit, a profit calculator app built for e-commerce sellers that quickly puts you in control of your business finances. Join thousands of online sellers who already make sense of their data with the BeProfit app and get 15% off BeProfit using the discount code MASTERPLAN15. That's the number 1, the number 5. Just go to beprofit.co. That's beprofit.co. I believe one of the top 5 things you need to master in 2022 is partnership marketing. And one of the partnership marketing methods that's going to explode this year is affiliate marketing. That's paying publishers of blogs, YouTube channels, email newsletters, and more a commission for the sales they drive to your website. The success of affiliate marketing is built on the relationships you build with your publishers, and that all begins by finding the right publishers. Wouldn't it be amazing if there was a tool you could use to identify the affiliate publishers driving traffic to your competitors? Well, there is. It's called Publisher Discovery, and you can try it for free for 7 days at ecommercemasterplan.com/discovery. Get the essential affiliate marketing growth tool, Publisher Discovery, at ecommercemasterplan.com/discovery.
It's time for the top tips round.
Okay, I love this section because it gives me and our listeners some really quick ideas for taking our businesses to the next level. So now you've all got excited about the opportunity of Enable All and getting your products on there and tapping into the purple pound and the huge opportunity there is. We're now going to give you some more tips. So Mike, are you ready for these?
Yes.
Okay, the book top tip. If everyone listening to this podcast agreed to take Friday off and read a book to make their business better, which book would you recommend?
I would recommend any book that is about disability, because the perceptions of disability are probably out of kilter with what people think. You're not going to know everything overnight. So I would be saying, Google, go on somewhere that says book about disability. It could be mental health, it could be about sensory impairment, and just understand and get a sense for how people are different and that difference, but how you can make sure that that difference doesn't mean that they can't access what you do.
Excellent. I love that. Go and find something, do that search for books about living with disability and then find one that resonates. Because there's an awful lot of books being published in that kind of genre, if I can call it that at the moment.
There's a huge amount. And, if I'm right, then that 50% of people have a relative or someone in their close network find a book which is about their impairment and understand a little more about what they're going through and their issues and the challenges and how you can help them kind of equalize and have equality of opportunity.
Good for business and life. The perfect book recommendation. Okay, the traffic top tip. Which marketing method do you either prize above all others or think doesn't get the press it deserves?
Well, I was very, very anti social media. I really was. And I decided at the start of lockdown to set up and do posts on LinkedIn. And believe it or not, around Purple Tuesday, in a 2-3 week period, I had over 300,000 views of about 8 posts that I'd done. And what was remarkable was the comments that came back that said, I'd never thought about disability like this before. I hadn't given it that kind of thinking. Thank you ever so much for bringing your stories to life. I am going to go away and do something about it. And from Purple's perspective, that has, if I use the parlance about traffic, we are starting to get gridlocked because there is so much traffic, and working how to support so many organizations who want to do something, who we've been managed to raise awareness and the profile, and who can hear the voices of disabled people who go, I need you to work for me. And that's been brilliant.
Yeah, a nice problem to have. All those people wanting your help. Okay, the tool top tip, maybe a collaboration tool, a social media plugin, a phone app, or just a way of working. Is there a cool little tool you use that makes you and your team more efficient from day to day?
Well, I think on a accessibility basis and online, what has been absolutely imperative is to have a sitemap. And that enables people to navigate and access all your information. And I still quite can't believe that so few organizations have a sitemap in 2022. And I think the statistic is, in terms of accessibility, only 3% of the top 1 million websites meet basic accessibility standards. So if you're able to do that, and sitemap is one of many things that are easy to do, just think about the huge advantage, the huge opportunity that will give you.
Excellent tip. Okay, the last one then, the growth top tip. If you met someone today who's focused on growing their e-commerce business from 100 orders per month to 1,000, what would be your number one tip for them?
Can I say sign up to enableall.com now?
Yes, you can.
Well, on that basis, then I'm going to, because I do think that this is the way. I think it's going to prove very popular. I think it's going to be normalized. It's going to be mainstreamed. And I would absolutely love for people to come on board, be a part of that journey, and enable so many disabled people and their families to have their life transformed.
I totally agree. And it's totally the right tip for you to give there. So enableall.com, everybody. If you're looking for that blue ocean of huge opportunity to get your sales, hit your sales targets for next year, then it is a must do. Mike, Before we say goodbye, could you let the listeners know where they can find you and your business on the web and social media? And feel free to mention both Purple and what you're up to there, as well as Enable All if you want to.
Okay, so for the final time, in terms of Enable All, it's enableall.com, and that's for social, at enableall.com for social media as well. And if you want to find what we do, it is wearepurple.org.uk.
There we go, everyone. You now have no excuse for not making your sites more accessible and not getting involved with looking after the disabled market and earning money from them as well. Mike, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I really hope we are spreading this message far and wide for you, and we help you get many more retailers signed up, because I think it's an excellent project. So thank you so much for coming on and telling us all about it.
And thank you.
Well, guys, there you have it. Mike's amazing insight into this space. Well, he's been working on this for decades, so he would know a lot about it. But I think he makes it so clear that there is a huge opportunity here. If you want to be on the list to hear as soon as you can start submitting your products to Enable All, it's not going to be very long away. It's enableall.com. They are launching initially in the UK, but the plans are to take it global very, very quickly. So wherever you are in the world, do get in contact with them now. It's going to be a huge opportunity to list your products on this marketplace, making your products accessible to everyone, no matter what their disability. So it opens up a potentially huge customer base for you. Plus, it's a case study of how to do it on your own site. If you're trying to work out how to achieve something to make your site more accessible, go and have a look once it's up at the Enable All website, and you'll see how to do it. Now, as you probably already heard me and other guests say, there's huge opportunity with cause-based marketing too, doing good and telling everyone you're doing good. And with increased competition, we need to find these blue oceans. So I think exploring this opportunity of the Purple Pound is a bit of a no-brainer, really. It could be a very quick way of raising sales. It's another way of doing good, making your site more accessible. And it's also a way of avoiding quite some of the huge amounts of competition we're fighting against at the moment, because most of the competition are not making their products accessible to this market. And we are sharing this with you now because it's going to be such a huge opportunity for 2022. As Mike said, it's going live in spring 22, and we will let you know as soon as it's live via email. To get your hands on the notes from today's show, including the top tips and links to what we've mentioned, head over to ecommercemasterplan.com/podcast. Now, when you're on the website, you can also add yourself to our email list, so you hear when Enable All goes live, because we will be telling all our subscribers about it, email subscribers that is. You'll also get all the other things I share to help you improve your business, which includes details of the webinar I'm going to be hosting to round off our January growth series, where I'm going to be sharing my take on where you should focus for maximum impact in 2022. It's kind of like the summary of all we've had here, drilled down into some key areas for you to focus on. The January Growth Series, with all its ideas, continues on Thursday with an episode entirely about sustainability. So make sure you've followed, subscribed to us wherever you are listening so you don't miss that. And right now, you can hear 6 of our January Growth Series. That's the JGS episodes right now. Just scroll through our episodes to find them. Thank you so much for tuning into the eCommerce Master Plan podcast. As you probably worked out by now, I'm all about bringing you interviews that will inspire and help you to succeed and thrive with your business, both to make it more successful and turn it into a force for good for our planet. If you know someone this show can help, please tell them to listen to the eCommerce Master Plan podcast. Have an excellent end to the week, and never ever forget to keep optimizing.
Thank you for listening to the eCommerce Master Plan podcast. Find out more at ecommercemasterplan.com/podcast.
Feeling overwhelmed by your business metrics? BeProfit provides you with a unique profit dashboard that's flexible and intuitive. The app turns complex data into easy-to-understand charts and graphs so you can truly understand the financial health of your store day in, day out. BeProfit gives you the power to master your numbers. Get 15% off BeProfit using the discount code MASTERPLAN15. That's MASTERPLAN15 at beprofit.co. BEPROFIT.co.